Working. Not working again. Live. We're live, but nothing's happening. We're having some technical
You're
difficulties
live.
here.
You're good to go. Keep going, beautiful.
Okay. We are live here. We're having some technical difficulties. It's the way of technology. What can I say? Welcome. I can say welcome to Leading Ladies, Leading Legacies. It's always exciting in this camp. Welcome. It's always good to share time and space with you. Tonight, Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies is bringing to you a featured guest speaker, Verlaine Crawford, who is a transformational consultant and coach and so much more. This is a lady that I met and absolutely applaud and celebrate her work. And I want to bring her on. I'm hoping that she's here. I can't see what's going on, but I'm hoping that she's here and we can bring her up.
There I
So there
am.
you are, Verlaine. Welcome. Don't you love technology?
It is great. It is. We keep learning.
It's you just keep going and you keep moving. But Verlaine, let's put all of the laughter aside because your work is transformational, empowering, and so much more. Share with us a little bit about how you came to do this fabulous work, and we're going to probe and go much deeper into it. And welcome, my lady.
Thank you so much. I just fell in love with Joy when I saw her in various meetings that we've been to, and I'm really happy to be here. How did I get started? I would say that as a as a child, even, and as I was growing up, in the beginning, I was sort of psychic, and then, uh, you know, felt like I knew things. And my mom would say, "You see leaves on trees when the trees are bare," and I thought that was maybe a good thing. I wasn't sure, and so even in my working career where I was editor of a newspaper, I was chief copywriter for an ad agency, and then I became director of chambers of commerce, and then was the first lady vice president of a high tech company in Silicon Valley, followed by a second one. So even during that time, with all these different things I did, I was always seemed like I was counseling people. It was like they knew it. They'd come in and close the door and, can I tell you
Yes.
something personal? And so it became very much part of my life. And I've studied spiritual work, almost every religion there is, and all of the exceptions to the religions, and all the scientific information. And I love cosmic theory. And so all of that has come together in my able to present to people and help them transform their lives if possible.
Well, Verlaine, I think the timing for what you're doing now could not be better. We are in the throngs of change and the universe, and I always say she is weeping for all of us to step forward and step up and share that wisdom and that knowledge that we have. Now, you said that you have always been involved in the spiritual realm. You also mentioned some of the things, exciting things that you did prior to this. But as a transformational consultant, and you know the gift is that everybody came to you because they felt comfortable to express to you what it was that they needed support with. So tell us, let's start here. Beginning for you way back, but now so many want to understand the differences between faith versus destiny. How do you explain that to people?
Well, I think that's a very powerful question. Fate seems to come into effect when we use our willpower to make our decisions, to make our plans. In fact, I remember someone said, if you want to see God laugh, make a plan. And it seems that is quite true.
Yes.
Although, I believe that we should allow ourselves to make a list of things we'd like so that we get clear in our minds. But the desires of our heart are known to God and they're known to the angels. And so that is destiny. The destiny is when you follow the guidance of your intuition, which is your inner knowing, which the inner knowing comes from, I believe, the guardian angels that are always with us. I think it's so important that people realize that that's a truth.
You mentioned keywords here: heart and soul, inner guidance, inner knowing. And a why question can be a deadly question, but not for you, Verlaine. This I know. That's why I'm asking you. Why have so many of us separated ourselves from that inner knowing and embracing it and moving alongside and with it? What happened?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think that the classical religions, the mainstream religions, lost sight of the fact of the individual, and many churches, are now understanding that they need to work with people and have them understand their power, their self empowerment, and allow that energy to flow through. And I think science wanted to separate itself from religion because they say we can prove it from the scientific realm. We can, we have to prove it. If we don't prove it, it's not real. And so what's happened in that period of time for the last 30, 40 years has been a tremendous blending of science and religion, because we are now knowing that we are energy. We were made of energy. Everything is made of energy. And that energetic power of the universe lives in us and creates us. And so, therefore, what's happened as so many people learn about that, and then they see people reading from the Old Testament and sounding like they're the old God before Jesus. Jesus came to change the law with the law of forgiveness, not the law of attacking each other. And so, in a way, we make our God based on our knowledge and knowing of what is the universe, and we're just learning.
Well,
It's so huge. I
it's
wish
humongous.
so much that every child had to learn astronomy and see this magnificent universe. If you can believe there's no God, when you understand the magnitude of this creation, then good luck.
Well, let's go to the nuts and bolts of what you're talking about. And thank you for that beautiful description, because it is all about energy. But you also spoke about, in loving ways and very politically correct, I'm sometimes not, about the big divide between the religious and the spiritual. Linda, nice to see you here. She has an excellent question for us as well. Good to see you here. Linda says an excellent question, and let's get an answer to that. And this is the question, because there's so much jargon out here, Verlaine. There's so much rhetoric. It's so much drivel about the divide between. And the reality is there is no divide. And this is what the universe and those in these two separate camps are beginning to understand and believe. So why are we at this point in time? I heard the heart and soul connected, because that's where we all have to go. Why do you think at this point in time, with this big shift that's coming up, you don't have to be in the spiritual or the religious realm to know that 2027 is when we begin to feel this. What's come about now that we all want more of that inner knowing? What happened?
Well, it's so uncomfortable to be just in our minds, because our minds are like a personal computer that is not connected to the internet. It's off by itself, only with memories, which is stored programs, right? And
Yes,
stored
yes.
files. And it tries to project into the future from what is known from the past. And so it's so uncomfortable because the energy of the planet has accelerated. It's
Yes.
accelerated from a 3D reality up to a 5D reality, 5 dimensions. And what does that mean? It goes from the physical is 3 dimensional. The next level is our emotions. And the next level is our mind, our thoughts. Okay. And the next level, the 6th level, is beyond thought. This is where you go if you take the time to meditate and get quiet, to quiet that mind. And so what has happened is the energy of 3rd dimension has moved into the 4th. And so we think a thought and it hits us emotionally very fast, right away. In the past,
And
it would take some time.
yes. And I think more now. And Linda is someone, Verlaine, that I want you to meet, because she too is very much about empowerment, love, learn, and laughter, and all that good stuff. Thank you for sharing time and space with us, Linda. You're going to love meeting and getting to know Verlaine, because we're all on the same path, more or less. One of the things that you said that's really profound is that now we're beginning to want to discover. People are wanting to know truly, authentically, with soul, why am I here? I know that there's a purpose and a reason. What am I to do? How am I to discover why I'm here? What is my purpose? That's the main question for people, because the reality is, Verlaine, that truth, beauty, love, wealth, and believe, these are the things that everyone wants. And yet our misunderstanding about the essence of what they all mean, except for truth, which is absolute. The others can be somewhat contrived, depending on your programming, your deconditioning, and all of the other things that are involved. So tell us, I think we lost Verlaine for a moment here. There you are, good. The technology, I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. But why is it that at this point in time, your work, first off, let me back up a little bit. I think the gift that you're sharing with people is beyond something to be absolutely celebrated, because when people come to you and they feel and they have that trust in you and that belief in you to know that you're going to deliver to them value and information that will benefit their lives, that is one of the best gifts that you can be given, way beyond wealth and money.
I love to do it. It makes me so happy. I had a girl yesterday that I worked with a little bit, and she wrote that I just changed her whole life, and
Yes.
I thought, wow, in 2 hours we changed her life. That is, it's beautiful. But once you get the knowledge or understanding of what it is that's holding you back, what it is that is, and it's all about our minds. Okay, everything is about our
Absolutely.
thinking. All right, so the purpose of our life at the end of the day is to love and to care about yourself and each other, and to use your talents and abilities as much as you can. There is no, oh, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, or you're a failure. It's not. There are people that are born crippled, or they're have an accident when they're young, and then you'd say, well, they can't do anything. They can love, and we've seen some of those people that
Well,
do.
absolutely.
Speaking about how they overcame it, I overcame quite a few things. I had cut my feet up in a lawnmower when I was 12. I was stabbed in the back by an assailant when I was 27. And those things could have just thrown me right off the cliff, right? I could have just said, I'm a victim. But no, because there's too much to live. There's too much fun out there.
There's too much fun
And
out there. Linda would connect with fun because her taglines is live, love, and laughter is what
it.
it's all about. But here's what
Yes.
you said that's really powerful, Verlaine, because the reality is we all crave. We crave more or less the same. And that's truth, beauty, love. You mentioned love. And along with that, wealth. Wealth isn't necessarily money all the time. It's health and all the other things that can entail. So I get
Exactly.
that. And all the things that happen to you, it happened to all of us. That's why this unconditional love is so
Yeah.
prevalent today, because we are beginning to understand that judgments and opinions, if they're not on the positive level, throw them out. We have no need for them. No need
Right.
whatsoever. Tell us, you mentioned something about letting go of the past. How do you
Yes.
inform people? How do you share as a transformational consultant the best ways to release and surrender the past?
Well, I have a number of methods, but one that I'm going to be doing classes on that changed my life is what I call the infusion integration technique.
I like that.
I first experienced it when I took a class in NLP. It was, what do you call it? Neural linguistic programming. And it was a 3-day class, and it was fascinating. But there was this little tiny bit of time on a Saturday morning when he said, well, I want to show you this in integration technique. Do I have a volunteer? And I'm like, yeah, because this was a few years after the stabbing, and I still had a lot of fear, and I've been working on it, and I could now travel alone and do a few things that I wasn't able to do. Anyway, the integration, what it does is it brings you. We ask that part of you that's holding on to the past, what did it do for you? What did that event do for you? And so once you begin to understand that part of you we separate them because one part of you got you in that situation, whatever it was, because it thought it was the right thing to do at that time. I know I hadn't planned on being stabbed. That was not a cool thing to do. But the other part says, are you kidding? That isn't, what I want to do. So basically, you do an integration by sending that part to the creative part of you to come up with answers and how to clear that away. That's one method. And I love helping people with it. It's just,
you do.
it works.
I love your answer because Linda is saying that your response is the right one. She didn't say this, I'm adding it, either for you or to you, and which one are you going to go in that direction with? And that's what you're explaining to us.
Yeah,
that's
and the other is just a really fun visualization that I have in my book, Ending Emotional Healing. And it's a visualization of putting the thing that happened to you on a pane of glass, and it's there in living color, and you put a rose underneath that glass, and you drain all the color into this white rose, and it becomes a very colorful rose, and it gets bigger and bigger. And then you can either keep the black and white version of the event, or you can get rid of it. So it's on the side of a cliff. You're up on a cliff. And I love that I go over and I just knock that glass over and it goes tumbling down, crashes to the bottom. And then the rose sends it up. And that's all the emotion of that event.
Wow.
And you blow up the rose. Boom, right? And then there are all kinds of little roses that come out and go pop, 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 pop. It's like your own fireworks display.
I like it.
It's so cool because it just, and you throw it off the cliff. And so what I did, and I do, is, and I did it really with so much in me. And I have to tell you, it's not there in my mind now. These things that happened to me are like a story that I read and I kind of remember. It isn't like the emotional thing is there. And so I put up a lot of panes of glass. Love affairs that didn't work.
We've all had them.
Jobs that didn't work. People that didn't work.
I love it. I love it. Verlaine, I'm telling you, that's a good analogy. Christina's here and she's saying, thanks, ladies. Loving and appreciating the conversation. Thank you, Christina, for being here. Let me do a quick little reset. And what I want to do is introduce, and when I come back, I want to speak to what you gave me here, which is one of my favorite. You mentioned the word magic. See it, feel it, sense the source. Magic fulfillment. Let's end with that when I come back. But for now, I just want to take a quick little reset and say hello to everyone here and welcome. For those of you who are here now and those who will come for the replay, bear in mind that we want you to join my Facebook group, Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies, because you belong there. And there's so much excitement in the hopper for you. And we love good company, which is what you are and will be. And in conjunction with that, my intention is to meet and dialogue with you one-on-one, just like I'm doing here tonight with our featured guest speaker, Verlaine Crawford. I want you to connect with her, make sure that you follow her as she will follow you, and let's all make this a community that is impactful and powerful. My Meet with Joy link is here. All you have to do is set an appointment. We Zoom. We see how we can make a good fit for each other and be impactful and supportive of each other's mission, purpose, and calling. And once we do that, you're in the tribe, you're in the group, you're in the circle forever and ever and ever. Now, we have quite a few minutes left here, and I want to go back to our featured guest speaker, Verlaine Crawford. And what I want to ask Verlaine, Linda, how are you? Nobody knows what a hopper is except me and you. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Linda. I mean, Linda, I use that expression. This is why you need a community. This is why, Verlaine, you need people around and with you all the time. Linda, thank you for that. You are absolutely right. Who knows what a hopper is? I'll explain it a little bit later because I don't have so much time. A hopper is where you put everything and hold it until the time is ready to open it up and explode. It's just another word for putting something away until you need it. But I want to talk to you, Verlaine. I want you to tell us what you meant when you gave me this, because I love the verbiage of it. See it, feel it, sense the source. magic fulfillment, because all of us are seeking that magic somewhere that's out there waiting for us. So give us some
Exactly.
stories about that.
Yes, well, it was a period of time when I really wanted to go back to Paris. I love Paris, France.
Me too.
Um, I felt like I had a past life there, and it's just very familiar to me when I went. And so I mentioned it to a person, and he said, "Well, how far away is Paris to you?" And I said, "Oh, way over there." And he said, "Well, imagine it is just right there in the room with you, and you're going to walk over to it and go do that." And I did, and I thought, wow, that's an interesting idea. And so everything started coming together. At that time I was taking care of my mom, who was quite ill, and someone volunteered, and a person wrote me over Facebook and said, "I have an apartment you can stay in." I mean, it was fabulous. Okay, so what you do with that particular statement is you see it. You visualize what is the desire of your heart, something that you would absolutely love. And you see it in detail. You imagine it so clearly, like one time I really wanted a great place to write and to live that was peaceful and beautiful. And I started imagining this room with a stone fireplace and everything. And so then you see it and you feel it. You feel what it's like to be there. It feels so good, and you imagine the couches that you're sitting on in the bedroom and all that kind of thing. So you see it, you feel it, and then you be it. You become that house in the mountains with the stone fireplace. You become that object. You just really feel the energy of being that. See it, feel it, be it. Sense the source. What's the source? The energy of God, the energy of the universe is the source energy of that place, and you in it. And so, magic fulfillment.
I love that. I love that. And this is what we're all headed for. This is what we're all working towards in one way or another. But Verlaine, I think it takes a lot of creative imagination and the beauty of knowing who and what you're giving out from the inside and out, so that you can begin to do that, because that's a visualization that has a lot to do with knowing who you are. If you're out there and you're tuning in, make sure that you let us know that you're here. And I would love to engage with you, because there's nothing that I enjoy more than what we're doing here, Verlaine and I, dialoguing with one another, exploring all the options and possibilities. We only have so much time here, my lady, but let me share this with you, or you share with us. You have written so many fabulous books. Share with us a little bit about those books so that people can go out and purchase the books, because the books are all phenomenal. And you have written quite a few, and we need to know and hear more about them. So tell us a little bit about your books.
Well, my first book was called Ending the Battle Within: How
I love
to
that.
Work with Your Subpersonalities to Create a Harmonious Life, which goes into detail about creating what you want, and then also working with your subpersonalities, these parts of you that have different ideas. I like to say that we think of ourselves as captain of our ship, master of our fate, but I see it as a pirate ship, and the crew is
I
planning
like that.
mutiny. Okay. And so those parts want to get up and take over. And they say, I want to go this way. Another, I want to go back to that island. I want to go home.
I
So
like
you have
that.
all these different parts. And so what I did with that in the book also was set up a board of directors for myself. There were 12 of them. And so it was, the child, the healer, the communicator, all the different parts of me that I could put, and let them tell me what they wanted. What did they want me to do? So they wouldn't interrupt each other, that we'd take turns with doing what they wanted. And so that was been a fabulous experience. So Ending the Battle Within, then I wrote Daughter of God, which is poetry.
Yes.
And it's a little bit like Khalil Gibran, where I took the different subjects
Oh, love
and, like,
him. Love
yeah,
him.
with the
And
love and everything. And it was really like that just came through me. It was just so lovely to work
oh
with
boy,
that.
isn't it, Verlaine? What you just said is a great way to end here, because you said it came through you. When you're in your creative mode and you're really working from the inside of you out, the core of you, the heart and soul connected. That is exactly what happens. You
Yeah.
also have this emotional healing, experience, balance, and self-empowerment in an age of rapid change. Really great books. The time has come and gone, my friend. I don't know where it goes. I don't question anymore. But what are your parting words? What are your words of wisdom with us? We have scrolled across all of your data, all of your information, the prayers that people will connect with you, and they will. So give us your words of wisdom before we say so long for now. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. This comes from a beautiful friend of 40 years. He passed away 2 years ago. His name was Hubie. We called him Hubie SS, Shining Star. He was a Black man from the islands. We miss him terribly. I say we, John and I. And he said, you've got to be there to get there. You've got to be there always to get there for sure.
Wow, I'll take that. I love that. Verlaine, we had some technical difficulties, but you are a trooper as I am, as Linda is, and everyone else here who is involved. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
No worries. We will do this again and again. I send you much love from my heart to your heart and many blessings.
Thank you.
So
Thank
for
you,
now.
everybody.
Oh,
Good
thank
luck
you,
to
thank
you.
you, thank you. Indeed. I don't know where the time goes, but it